Everybody. I haven't been on for a while and I wanted to come on and talk about bigger picture and keeping grounded because there's been so much going on this year, so much going on this year that it's quite hard sometimes just to really process it. And as and when you start to learn new things and receive new information, you do have to sit with it for a while and you do have to sit and process it. And what we tend to do, or what we can get caught up in, is we can get caught up in the energy of an event or an experience rather than actually connecting the dots to your bigger picture and your bigger picture piece. And it's really, really important that we have a bigger picture piece for ourselves because that's what defines our purpose. And when we make choices in our life, if we are just making choices based on an experience or an event without having a connection to what that bigger piece is for us and what that means for us, more often than not, you just end up stuck in an energy of that experience or in an energy of that event, and you don't tend to move on because you don't have the awareness and the consciousness and the insight to actually connect anything to anything outside of what is going on directly around you. And we know, don't we, there's been some really horrendous things going on in this world right now. They are horrendous. And you know, just because they are horrendous, and in some respects it made me feel sick to my stomach. You know, you can choose to ignore those things, you can choose, but it doesn't mean to say just because you choose to ignore it that they're not real, you know. And you do have, and we do have the ability and the blessing to think for ourselves, to process what we see and what we hear and what we feel and the things that are going on in the world right now, to process them in a manner that brings a truth for us as an individual. And when you bring that truth to you as an individual, it's then that you are able to comprehend fully and deal with what it is you are seeing in front of you. And I wanted to talk about this today because yesterday was the strangest day for me. And I knew there was an energy going on. There was definitely some real heavy energy yesterday, to the extent where my head or even my brain felt like it was totally disconnected from my body. It felt I had a total disconnect even from the brain, like I was a three-dimensional person in its truest form, in its real form. And it felt really weird. It felt really weird to me. I wasn't scared of it or anything like that, but it felt weird because it's not the sort of thing that just happens. And it got me thinking because I went very much deep into thought yesterday while this was going on. And it was only when I looked at the Schumann's resonance that I realised that actually that thing had spiked like it had go. It was just off the chart. And Mother Nature, you know, our beautiful Earth, Mother Nature is watching and feeling all of this stuff with us. You know, it's feeling the collective consciousness of everybody. And where you've got pockets of individuals making up groups of purpose, you'll have a collective consciousness and a collective energy with each of those aspects. And all of those things are feeding into Mother Earth. And yesterday she decided that she was going to kick the Schumann resonance up, the Earth's heartbeat, to such an extent she wanted to blow people's consciousness open. And that's to this bigger picture piece, you know, because if you don't connect in something that's outside of you, that has that higher being, if you like, you can find yourself in a really difficult space, mentally, physically, morally, and ethically. And whatever you do, whatever you choose to do, however you choose to act, if you can, you need to align it to your higher purpose. You need to align it to that higher purpose, because there is a real dark versus light thing going on. Whether you want to see it or not, it is happening. There's stuff going on in this world that is being covered up left, right and centre, and it is happening. It is happening. And you can, as I said, you can ignore it. You can ignore it if you want, but if you can find a higher purpose, if you find that higher purpose. So for me, for instance, my higher purpose is I'm on a spiritual path, and I want to live my life by a spiritual path, and I want to speak my truth. Now, my truth may not resonate with somebody else. It may not resonate with them because that's not their truth. They're on a different path to me. They're on a different part of their journey to me. And that's totally fine. And that's totally acceptable. It's totally acceptable. But when you find yourself getting caught up in the events or the experience, the chances are that the energy within that event or that experience that's going on is going to be really heavy, and it will have a darkness to it. It will have a darkness to it in so much as a lot of it is driven by fear. And when you're driven by fear, you are moving in a different direction to when you are driven by truth. It's a big, big difference. A big, big difference. And I was listening to my local church sermon this morning, which is quite a new thing for me, but I quite enjoy listening to him sometimes, because he does talk sense, and I'm not religious by any shape or form, but it was interesting in so much as how he described dark and light. And what he described is you can live your life by connecting to he used the term as God. I use the term as higher purpose, or your higher self, or your spirit self. Or you can live your life on the other end of the spectrum, which is following sin and everything that comes with that, which is the materialism, which is the ambition, which is the money, which is all of those things. And he was saying that just leads to death. And I don't think he meant necessarily death, i.e. human existence is finished. What I think that means in my mind, and how I think about that, is it's death of your spirit. Because your spirit, or your higher self, doesn't feed. It doesn't feed off materialism, off of money, off of greed, off of fear. It doesn't feed off of that. It doesn't feed off of that. So to nurture your spirit, you need to connect to that higher purpose. And when you do that, you live your life from a different perspective. And it's been trying, really, really trying and challenging, not just for me, but a lot of people that I talk to that are on a spiritual journey. And they feel tested. They feel like they're being tested because the things that are going on in the world right now are so energetically strong from a darkness perspective. They're pulling people along with them. And one of the other beautiful things that we have as being humans is the ability to question and the ability to articulate what it is we feel, what it is we think, and the ability to choose. And all of these things are there for us to use so that we can live a life for our highest good. For our highest good. So connecting into something that's bigger than you is paramount when you are going on these purposeful experiences, so that you don't get stuck in the energy of it. You're going there from a place of truth for you because you've connected to that higher element, that higher spirit. And I cannot express the importance of that. And I cannot express the importance of having the awareness of what is going on around you and bringing that into a space and taking the time and question it and research it and make your mind up so it sits with you as your truth. And don't get me wrong, guys, you'll get to a point where you land and you'll think, right, okay, I can see that now, I know that now, I appreciate that now. And that feels right to me. It feels right to me. It doesn't matter how what other people feel and think and say about it. It's about what feels right to me and how it lands with you in your truth. And that is the most important thing. And to then keep grounded in that truth. But we are human and we are always going to experience new things, and we're always going to see new experiences and new events. These things are going to happen because people are people, and there are different types of people out there driving different agendas. And a lot of these agendas you're not going to agree with. And this is where your truth and your connection is so important, to keep you grounded and in line with your own moral compass, to keep your moral compass in the direction it needs to be. And then there's going to be some people out there that are driving an energy and driving an agenda that maybe you do resonate with and maybe you do agree with. But it's important that when that lands in your truth, it lands because you have the connection outside of the experience. You have to maintain a higher connection outside of the experience, because you end up enveloped by the energy that is, which might not necessarily be good for you as an individual. The cause may be online with you and online with your truth, but the energy, the collective energy of it, if you stay in there, may not do you any good. So you have to have that awareness, and to have that awareness, you must keep grounded in your own truth with that higher connection. It is so, so, so important to do that, guys. You know, and I come on here and I talk about all different things, and don't take my word for it. It's okay. I don't mind. I live my life by my truth. And as I receive more information, and as I experience new things, and as I decipher new things, and as I land again in a different truth, I will express that also. Because my thing is about my spiritual journey. It's about my spiritual path. It's about articulating my truth. And we don't have to be fixed in a particular way. And as long as you have your connection, you are able to change your perceptions, your abilities, and your awareness and your consciousness. But you will always remain connected. You're never going to go anywhere away from the higher self, the higher purpose. So the fundamental thing about this is to find that higher connection. Now, whether that is God for you, do it. If that's Jesus, do it. If it's your spirit, do it. If it's a connection to universe, do it. You know, if it's Mother Earth, do it. Find that bigger thing that is outside of you, so that when you go on these journeys, because we will always be journeying as we live out our life. As you go on these journeys, you're connected spiritually to whatever means that means for you, and you will never fall, you'll never waver. You might wobble a bit, because the darkness, it wants you off that. It doesn't want you connected. And it will do things, and things will happen around you, and it will challenge you, and it will test you, and it will make you doubt yourself. It will chip at your confidence. It will do what it needs to do to knock you off of that spiritual connection. Because we are spirit, guys. We're spirit in a human. We're in a human body. We are spirit in a human body, and we are having a human experience. And when you don't connect to one of those things, you stay in those energies I've mentioned. So I hope that was helpful. Stay grounded, stay connected, and just find your joy. Find your joy, you know, and protect yourself, protect your energy. Put your boundaries in place. And stay true to yourself. It doesn't matter if somebody else wants to start, you know, saying things about you because you don't want to fight a particular purpose. If it's not your purpose, if it's not your truth, it's not your truth. And that's it, you know. That is it. And you have to be true to yourself. And if you can do that and keep that connection strong, when you're wobbling like the tree, let's talk about the tree in the wind right now. Those trees, their foundations, they are in that ground. The branches are going, you know, 2 to a dozen in the wind, but the foundation is solid and that tree doesn't come up. And it's the same with your truth. The more you work with it, the more solid you become. The more that foundation gets roots, you know. So it's Sunday, and yeah, the weeks are just flying by. But look, I hope you've enjoyed that, guys. And if you've got any questions or you want to contact me about anything I say, I am more than happy to speak with you. And I do wish you all well. And I really appreciate you when you come on and share this time with me. I love you all, and just, yeah, kindness and love, and just take care. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye now. Bye-bye.